All right, today's lesson is going to focus on graphing exponential functions. So we have our exponential function up here, y equals a times, they like the dot, so I put it there so it'll look the same, then parentheses b to the x. So no longer a t, but instead an x. We have three simple, easy steps in order to graph these. First step, your a is the y-intercept. If you don't remember what a y-intercept, it's where your graph touches the y-axis. Okay, so if we were just to do a quick little sketch, here's the y. It's basically like here. It's a point that touches the y. Then we're going to use an xy table, and we're just going to plot 2 points, x equals 2 and x equals -2. With those two values of x, we'll have enough to graph. That'll give us 3 points. We'll plot them, and then we'll see what the graph looks like. One quick thing to mention, though, your graph cannot go below the x-axis. Here's the x-axis. Your graph is not allowed to be anywhere down here. It must stay up on top, okay? So as we graph these, you might get really close to the x, but you're not allowed to come down here, okay? So it's never allowed to go. Let's go ahead and try these. And feel free, graph these on regular paper. That's what I did as well. So our first function is y equals 3 times 2 to the x. This is your a, okay? We really don't need b, but I'll label it for you. Here's your b. So the first step is that your a is your y-intercept. So step 1, a is the y-intercept. So this is a is 3. So you're going to say the y-intercept is 3. And just so you remember, as an ordered pair, what that looks like is that is a 0, 3. So it is an xy point that you will plot. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use an xy table. This does take a little bit, so I did try to show all my work to be helpful. And I don't have the correct calculator currently, so I will help you by telling you what to push on the calculator, and hopefully it's right. Mine will be here next week, so then I will have the right calculator to help you guys out. So we're only going to plot 2 points, x equals 2 and x equals -2. So we're going to put 2 here. This 2 is going to go in here for this exponent. So that's one thing that's really important. You're going to plug the number in here to the exponent. So when I go to show the work, so it's y equals 3 times 2 squared. So when you solve this, you always do the power first. So I'm going to figure out 2 squared. You can just do 2 times 2 in your calculator, and then I'll write what I get underneath. So then I'm going to have 3 times, and this should give me a 4, and so I get 12. 3 times 4 is 12, so that's 1 point, 2, 12. Then we're going to do -2. For the negatives, just be careful. They're a little bit trickier. So again, it's a -2 here exponent, so you're doing this part first. So how to put this in the calculator, I'm hoping this is correct. So for the calculator, you want to push the number 2. Then you want to hit the y to the x button. Then you're going to hit another 2. So this first 2 is the base here. This y to the x says make it a power. And then this 2 is this 2 here, but we need it to make it a negative. So then you'll push regular 2. And then I think you go straight to pushing the +- button. It looks like this. It's got a plus and a minus. And then you'll press equals. And if that all worked out correctly, you should get 0.25. So 0.25. And we're going to multiply that by 3, which is going to give us 0.75. So now we're going to plot our 3 points. So let me remind you, so our first point was here, the 0, 3. Let me get a different color. So here we're going to plot 0, 3, and then 2, 12, and then -2, 0.75. So those 3 points should be enough to get us going on the graph. So if we come down here, I've already sketched out a y and x. Your graph will not drop below here, so you don't need to worry about putting a lot on the bottom. So we do need this, sorry about that, we do need this to go to 12 because that was our highest point here, 12. So I'm just gonna sketch out 12 little notches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And we are going to plot these points. And when we plot these points, we're just going to estimate because we don't have an exact graph here. So I do know this is 12 here at the top, so I'm going to plot 0, 3 first. So 0, 3 over 0 and up 3 is right here. And then I'm going to plot 2, 12. 2, 12 is way up here. And then -2 and 0.75. Well, this is 1, so maybe right there. These graphs are going to curve. They're going to curve in a way that looks like this. So it's going to come up here, it's going to hit through these points and curve it a little more, and it goes like that. So you can see though, it does not cross below the x-axis. Why don't you try to go ahead and graph the second one? Here it is, 4 times 1/2 to the x, and I will pick up that on the next video.